Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today Trinseo just filed an 8K amendment and I am seeing one very important correction. Quick note, this is not financial advice, just my take on public filings for educational purposes. This filing is a bit of a cleanup job, but it highlights a key document that tells us about the company's financial health during a tough time. So this isn't a brand new report, it is actually an amendment to a report they filed earlier. Think of it like a corrected draft that is being officially filed. Now, the company Trinseo plc is basically fixing some small errors in a previous filing. The main reason for this amendment is to refile an exhibit which is like an attachment to their main report. Specifically, they are correcting some typos in the names of guarantors on the signature pages of Exhibit 10.2. Now, what is Exhibit 10.2? This is a really important document. It is a credit agreement, essentially a loan document related to a debtor-in-possession situation. What does that mean? Well, the news headlines tell us Trinseo has been going through some financial difficulties, even filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. A debtor-in-possession loan is a type of financing that companies get while they are under bankruptcy protection, allowing them to continue their operations. It is a critical lifeline. This agreement from May 2026 lays out the terms of that financing involving Trinseo plc as the parent company and various subsidiaries like Trinseo Finance LLC, Trinseo Luxco Finance SPV SRL, and Trinseo Finance SPV LLC as borrowers. Alter Domus is acting as the administrative agent, meaning they are managing the loan on behalf of the lenders. The fact that this is an amendment to fix typos suggests that the original document was already filed, and in effect the correction itself about the names of guarantors sounds minor. But in legal and financial documents, precision is everything. Guarantors are entities that promise to pay the debt if the main borrowers cannot. Their correct identification is crucial for the enforceability and understanding of the entire agreement. This type of filing and ATR is common when companies need to correct information previously submitted to the Securities and Exchange Commission. We are not going to get into the nitty-gritty of every single legal clause because, honestly, a lot of it is standard for these types of filings. But the core takeaway is that Trinseo is actively managing its financial restructuring, and this filing is about ensuring the accuracy of the documentation related to its operating capital during this process. The initial event being reported on here relates back to May 28, 2026. This is when the credit agreement itself was dated. The amendment we are looking at is being filed in June 2026, just a few weeks later to clean up that exhibit. It shows a company under pressure working to maintain its operations and financial footing through a complex process. The news we saw earlier about Trinseo filing for Chapter 11 and lenders potentially getting nearly all the equity really puts this credit agreement into perspective. This is the kind of financing that keeps the lights on during bankruptcy. The correction here, while a small detail, underscores the intense scrutiny and need for accuracy when dealing with such significant financial maneuvers. Looking beyond this specific amendment, Trinseo has been facing substantial challenges. The headlines mention a pre-pack bankruptcy aimed at cutting about $2 billion of debt, which is a massive amount. This kind of restructuring is designed to allow the company to continue running its business while shedding a huge chunk of its financial obligations. The company's ordinary shares are mentioned here, with the recent news of delisting from the N.I.S.E. and moving to an OTC trading symbol, TSEOF. It highlights the shift in how the company's stock is traded, and likely its reduced market presence. The share price itself is currently extremely low, pointing to the market's reaction to the financial distress. And finally, we have the cover page interactive data file. This is standard for SEC filings now, making the financial information more accessible and searchable for investors and analysts. Now let's talk about what this all means in the bigger picture. Trinseo is in a significant financial restructuring. This amendment to fix a credit agreement exhibit is a small but necessary step in that larger process. It shows diligence in correcting even minor errors in critical documents that support their ongoing operations under bankruptcy protection. The real story here is the company's fight for survival and its efforts to shed a massive amount of debt. The debtor-in-possession loan is the lifeblood allowing them to negotiate their way through bankruptcy. While this amendment focuses on a technical correction of guarantor names, it's tied to this vital financing. What I am actually looking for is how effectively the company can execute its restructuring plan and what that means for its long-term viability and stakeholders. The correction of these typos, while seemingly trivial, reminds us that in these high-stakes financial situations, every detail matters. Oh, and the research tools I actually use are linked in the description. They help keep this channel going. That is my take. Stay decoded. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button and subscribing really helps. Join our Discord linked below.